American houses today, the very common thing we do is we build it to throw away. Building sustainably isn't only about protecting the environment, though it is. It's also about finding products for you that are going to last you for the long haul.
The passive house is this very comfortable, very thermally controlled environment, a wonderful house to live in, but it also allows us to add that net zero piece where we're bringing the power in. We're able to power the house with its solar panels. Passive houses are unique because they use a lot less energy than a code-built home, and consequently, your utility bills are quite a bit less. For example, in this house, the utility bills on average would have run about $1,700 a year for heating and cooling if this were just built to average standards. Now, with the solar panels, we're able to pay our $14 a month to be hooked up to the grid, but that's really all we've got for energy costs in a given year. So some of the key pieces at the beginning of the passive house is to go through this energy modeling process where we build the house in 3D software and we can figure out where the heat's coming from, where our thermal loads are coming from, how much sunlight's coming in the summertime. So building this house in a 3D model allows us to understand the energy flows and allows us to reduce the energy usage and being very intentional about how we're designing the house. The next step is going to be making sure we have a great thermal envelope around the house, making sure the house is built very airtight. This allows us to have control both over the thermal quality of the house. We're keeping that heated air in the house, but it also keeps us from having nasty air coming up through our crawl spaces. The next piece is avoiding thermal bridges. So a thermal bridge is where you have studs in your wall. The heat's flowing through the studs, straight through the siding to the outdoors. The goal with this passive house technology is that we want to combine all of these elements to reduce the energy usage of our home and add solar panels on the roof and make a house net zero. The next piece that I think is probably more important than the utility savings is probably just the added quality of your home. We are being very intentional about building our wall assemblies and our roof assemblies so that they're going to last us a very long time. So for example, in this house, we have our traditional wall framing. We've done it thicker than average, so we've used 2x8 framing with insulation in between the studs. On the outside of that, we've got our sheathing layer, which is our airtight layer. Outside of that, we've got 2 inches of cork insulation. We have a rain screen system, so any sort of water that sneaks back has a place to drip out of that wall assembly. And then we've got siding that's gonna last very, very many years with hardly any maintenance. And that long-term maintenance piece is something that a lot of our clients are very enthusiastic about. They want a house that has very little maintenance. They don't want to be out repainting the trim every few years or replacing the trim around the windows because it's rotted out after 10 years. And you see that in like the cheaper homes that are built. Some builders are still using wood trim around windows and we're seeing it rot out after 5 or 10 years. That doesn't make much sense in a home that should be lasting hundreds of years. So we're being very intentional about picking the right materials and building a very durable home that's going to last centuries.